My name is Obadiah Clark. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I lived in New Jersey for many years, and now I live in Trinidad and Tobago, sweet tea and tea.
And he is also my father. So I was wondering if you could tell me of a time somebody's goodness helped you.
All right. I Goodness can be perceived in many different ways, and so one of the times that I can remember somebody being good to me is I was about 16, 17 years old, and me and a girlfriend were driving back from my grandparents who lived on a lake, and we were going through this town. We were dressed really crummy, and we were in a crummy, beat up pickup truck. And I was driving through this one area that was 45 miles per hour. And I did not realize, but I was doing 65 miles per hour. And a police officer was behind me, and I didn't realize it until the stoplight. And I pulled over, and he asked me if I knew why he was pulling me over. And I said, I do not know why you're pulling me over. And he said, sir, you're doing 45 and a 65. And he asked for my driver's license and registration, insurance, all that. And then he comes back to me and he says, I can see that you can use the money in other places, because I was dressed really crummy and was driving a real crummy pickup truck. And he said, so I'm gonna let you go. And that was, I mean, it could have been pretty bad being 20 miles over the speed limit. So he let me go. He gave me a warning and let me go. And I thought that was pretty amazing, because rightfully so, I was wrong. And he could have given me a pretty hefty ticket, or reckless driving, or whatever he could have charged me with.
Did it stick with you, and why?
Yeah, it did, because I didn't deserve, I was in the wrong. I didn't deserve to receive any mercy or grace from the officer, but he gave me mercy and grace. And I mean, it wasn't like I was doing 10 miles over, or 11 or 5 miles over. I was actually doing 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, so it stuck with me.
Have you used their example of goodness to help others? If so, in what way?
Yeah, so really, I've been in a position, just in different positions where I was in charge of people, and when they would do something wrong, I kind of use that example of giving grace and mercy to people, even when they don't deserve it sometimes, even when they're in the wrong. I tell them, hey, you're in the wrong, even though I could fire someone, or I could, punish them, or even sometimes even with my kids, when they deserve to be disciplined, I let them go, because I remember the example of the officer giving me grace and mercy when I didn't deserve it. And many times we don't deserve grace, and we don't deserve mercy, but it was an example to me of his kindness, of showing me that grace and that mercy that I carry on in different times.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Janula Clark. I'm currently living in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. This is also my birthplace, and I grew up most of my life here.
And she's also my mother.
Yes. And I'm the mother of Leah Clark.
Can you tell me of a time somebody's goodness helped you?
Yes, one of the things that stuck out to me is when I was about 13 or 14 years old, somewhere around there. I knew it was in my teenage years. My cousin would come up to visit me in the countryside, and I remember this one time we were getting ready to go out, and I all dressed up, and just that after my parents' divorce, I ended up with my grandmother, and a lot of things changes then, and at that time, and there was a lot of things that as a child I wish I could have had that I didn't. So this one particular cousin, she would visit from time to time, and I remember, we getting dressed up to go out, and when I came out and she came out, she looked at me, and she made suggestions, not looking down at me, And within her suggestions, there were solutions. So what I'm trying to say, she would brush my hair, she would switch out my top with something that she had. And that spoke volumes to me, because she was concerned not only the way, she wasn't concerned about herself, but she was also concerned about the way I looked also, right? And she wanted me to look as beautiful as she did. Not that it was based on materialistic things. She was genuine about her gestures, and that spoke volume to me, and that stuck with me even today.
Oh, so it stuck with you. Why did it
Yes.
stick with you?
Because I am conscious, I'm mindful of those around me, and as much as I can help and give, I would. So it doesn't matter where God takes me in life. I always ask God to help me to be mindful and to be aware of. So whatever environment He put me in, I'm just always looking for a way that I can meet a need, or what do I have that I can help someone else, in whatever small way, and it stick with me in that way.
Have you used this example of goodness to help others? Well, I guess you just said that.
Yes, I just said that. And,
Yeah.
And that has become a lifestyle for me, because, you know, and I won't exclude God from this. I'm sorry.
It's fine, Mommy. You want me to stop?
No, it's fine.
You sure?
Yes, I won't exclude God from this. Because He has always been good to me. And that is why I do what I do, because in that simple expression of love, it spoke volumes to me.
Hey, my name is Lil, and those were my parents. And the people and their stories have directly affected me. I know you're saying, like, how did they affect you? They were, like, not even, like, there. Like, you weren't even there. You get what I mean. But because of the cop of my dad's story, he's taught me to show grace and mercy to others, even when they don't deserve it. And he's even shown grace and mercy to me, even when I don't deserve it. And because of the cousin of my mom's story, she's always taught me to love everyone and not look down upon others. Also to help someone when they're in need. And I find it kind of weird that one person's actions, like, affected me so much, just because, like, those things are, like, built into my, like, I don't want to say character, but it's, like, built into me. It's, like, deep rooted into me. And it's because of them, because I feel like if they weren't like kind enough and weren't showing love towards my parents in those moments, then I don't feel like they would teach those things to me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you have to be, I feel like some things are like common sense, but some things I feel like you don't understand how big and important it is until it actually happens to you and affects you. How do you perceive goodness as like a whole?
Well, that's a pretty broad question, because goodness can come in so many different ways, right? For me, you know, in that example that I gave you, goodness was in grace and mercy, right? But goodness can also be in kindness and gentleness. Goodness can be in many different ways and forms. I think sometimes we have one perception of goodness, but goodness is bigger. It's bigger than what I think any of us can really understand, because it comes through love. And really the foundation of goodness is love, right? The foundation of grace and mercy is love. So goodness, if you care for someone, or you love someone, you're gonna show them goodness and in their life. So goodness is very broad. I think sometimes we simplify it too much, but it's very broad.
How would you say you would describe goodness as a whole, or how you perceive it as a whole?
I perceive it as the love of God, and I can only speak from a place that I have experienced and that I know, right? For God so loved, He gave. Nothing that I did or could have done, right? He gave. Even before I was conceived, He gave. Even that simple gesture of my cousin, I wasn't at that part of salvation, but in it I still saw God and I understood, it was because He cared. And I honestly believe if we is more conscious about the life God has given us and the purpose and the things that we do could really affect the people we come across on a daily basis and can change so much just by taking the time to be conscious of those around you and their needs in whatever capacity God gave you the means to help others. I believe we should, and that should be a lifestyle and a way that we live.
I think goodness to me is just love. I feel like people loving on each other, and that sounds weird. But I just feel like love in general is goodness, and different things stem from love, and it affects everyone.